I really wanted to talk a little bit about what was coming up for us in August because we have some very big energies that are coming up. But I am absolutely fine if you have some questions or some specific vibrations that you're seeing. Just let me know in the chat and we can certainly discuss those as well. So I'm going to start with what we already have in the videos that I've put together for August, because I'll go over those real quickly, because can go back and look at those if you need more information. So the first thing is, I'm going to move this over a bit. So August, just like all the other months that we've been having, are it is resonating at this 8 energy. Oh, thank you for coming, Slay Queen. I'm so glad you made it. But don't stay long. If it's 3 a.m. You can watch the recording. So actually, why don't we do this? Do you have so you can go to bed, Slay Queen. Do you have any vibrations you want me to break down? It could be your name, it could be your birthday, it could be any numbers that you've been seeing. Then I could break those down and then you could go to bed and you could watch the recording later. Thank you so much for coming. I'll wait and see if I get a chat from you. But in the meantime, I'll keep talking about August. So August is resonating at an 8, but it's resonating at this 17-8. And so one thing that I wanted to add to what is in the video, and honestly, I don't remember. Oh, you do keep seeing angel numbers. Okay, let me know which ones. Is it the triple digit ones? Certain ones that you're seeing? So this 17 actually resonates at the vibration of the tarot star. So that means we could really see some big, beautiful things that are coming forth from this month. But also that we have to be very careful with this energy because it's going to be big and powerful. Okay, let's look at these angel numbers real quick. So, when you are seeing angel numbers, so any of these triple digits, and so it looks like the ones that are being seen are 333, 444, and 555. There's a couple of things that we need to know. First of all, is that these angel numbers, they're really, I don't want to say that they're not special because they are. It's just that because they have this same vibration sitting next to each other, they're amplified, they're really loud. And so the universe uses these angel numbers to get our attention because they are so loud. It's like putting 3 speakers that are all playing the same thing really loud. And so it's really to get our attention about some other vibrational message that's coming in. And so what I tell people all the time is as soon as you're seeing that number, immediately think about, what was I thinking about? What was I feeling? What was happening? And start documenting that, because then you'll start being able to get these further vibrations and get the bigger messages, especially when it's not one particular one. So if you're seeing 111, 222, 333, 444, 555, then that means that it's really just trying to get your attention. Um, but if you're seeing one of them all the time, then it could be the bigger message itself. So if you're seeing a bunch of them, I would start documenting, oh, what was I thinking? What was I feeling? What was happening in that moment? And that should help to start draw in what the other messages are, because really how the vibrations work is they are woven together like in a tapestry, and so they're like in layers. And so this very outside layer, these are like our angel numbers that are used to like get our attention. And then what's hidden just beneath here is another set of vibrations that give us further information about what the message is. And so when it's a lot of angel numbers and it's not the same one, then you want to make sure that you're documenting like what you're thinking and feeling at that time, so you could start digging into what the message is. So if you're seeing these angel numbers and every time it's certain person that's on the phone, or right after you see it somebody calls you, or you just got off a call with somebody, then it's probably a message about that person or that pattern that that person is bringing into your life. If you have a particular thought, like even it could be that, oh, I'm feeling a little bit anxious about what's going on, and then you start seeing these angel numbers, then you could see that as, oh, the message is to snap out of it and stop being so worried about this thing. So the deeper message is actually just beneath the angel number. If it is that you're seeing the same angel number over and over again, not different ones, but if it is the same one, well, let me get a different page here. So if you're seeing the same one, say like I had a good almost year that I kept seeing 555 all over the place. It was driving me insane. Well, the vibrations kind of drive me insane anyway, because I see them everywhere and in everything all the time. But I was seeing a lot of this 555. And so what the message was that there's a lot of change coming in every area of life. So 5 is change, a lot of change coming in every area of life. And then we can add these up and we get 15 that goes to 6. And so then in this breakdown, what's happening is we're getting this, drawing your attention to be prepared. There's lots of change coming in all areas of your life. But in this change, 15 really is about choosing between bondage and freedom. And this actually comes from tarot cards. So what we see is that the vibrations actually layer on each other. So we can use the numbers, the numerology, combine it with what we see in tarot or what we see in the astrology to get all of the vibrational pieces of that message. So 15 really is about, are the changes that are being made, are you going to allow them to put you in bondage, or are you going to be freed by them? And that's really a choice that needs to be made. And once you make that choice, know you're going to be comfortable in it. So whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, you're going to have to be comfortable with your decision. So if you end up in bondage, it might be a very hard thing to break because you end up being very comfortable in this. Oh yes, thank you, Tarot Goddess. Yep, it's the Devil card. So hopefully that answers some of your questions, Slay Queen. Like I said, really what you want to do when you're seeing these angel numbers is really track what you're thinking, feeling, experiencing, who you're with, who you're talking to. Um, and I just did it like on the little note section in my phone. Whenever I would see them, I would put the number. And I have friends all the time that send me pictures. I'm like, don't send me pictures of people's license plates. It's really weird, but they do. They send me pictures and then tell me about, like in a memo, what was happening. So great, great. I'm glad that was helpful. Um, Please do bring more of your questions. I'll try and get in here earlier so that you're not having to come in at 3 a.m. But I am so glad that you made it. Good. Let me know what you're finding as you're documenting, because we could definitely chat about it in another live and see what's coming through, because the vibrations really come through. This is why I can break down music lyrics in this way, because the universal vibrations, they come through numbers and words, but then also the things that we see. But usually what we have to do is, if we see something, then we put it into words, and then that helps us get to numbers. So it all is just about finding out what the weaving is. But we tend to see that it's a something to get your attention, and then the next number usually is something that's telling you why it's important, and then the third number, and sometimes they could all be the same, but then the third number is usually what action you need to take to be able to get to the outcome. So these vibrations really are giving us messages for our life that we can act upon. We just have to be able to start figuring out how to learn and read them. And what I discovered is that part of our problem is that we keep them very separate. Like, we look at numerology separate from astrology, separate from tarot, separate from, the way music makes us feel, separate from how certain words make us feel, separate from how certain people make us feel. But it really all is one vibrational tapestry that's coming together to give us big information, messages, and clues. Good. I'm glad. And so that's actually what I wanted to bring up with August. So this is actually a good place to go here. But certainly let me know if you have any other questions, because that's what I want these lives to be for, is to answer some of these questions so that we all can really be able to start using these vibrations that we're seeing and experiencing, because we're not supposed to just notice them and feel them, and be a victim to them. We're really supposed to be using them for the betterment of our lives, and we're supposed to be able to maneuver with them. So that's what I'm trying to help all of us be able to do. So on this calendar for August, I know this looks crazy, but that's kind of the point, is that it looks crazy because we have all of the layers of the vibrational tapestry all together. And this is really how we should be looking at these vibrations, so we can get the bigger picture. So then we're actually making moves, making decisions, and taking action with all the information. Because if we don't have all the information, then that's when we can take a wrong turn. And so, just looking at August, the first thing is we see that the whole month is a vibration of 8 coming from 17. And so this 8 energy is like encompassing every single day. So it's one layer in every single day's tapestry. And this August 8 energy is happening in 2025 9 year. And so that, again, is an even bigger vibration that's happening. I lost where my pen went. Um, so it's these layers of vibration. And so when we're thinking about like the month of August, the first thing that we're going to encounter a lot of times is this vibration of 9 for the year. So this 9 vibration is permeating everything. And 9 really is about ending things. This is a huge year, and I'm sure you heard it in all kinds of conversations. This is a huge year for endings and for shiftings, where you see lots of things ending and you see a lot of things shifting. And that's really the biggest vibration in all of this, that everything is coming back to, it's beginning with and ending with this 9 energy of the year. And then in whatever month we're in, so in this case August, now that's another big energy that we're encountering. So while this 9 energy of the whole year is encompassing every single day, where we are continuously hearing these conversations of things ending, of things shifting, of things getting like changed in some way. And it's usually very big things when it's the annual, when it's the year, because it could be things that take a whole year to be able to end, or take a whole year in order to shift all of that energy. But it's always going to come back to that. And then the August 8th is really about, as we are coming into August, because today's the 2nd, for some of us, those of us on the other side of the world, that you are already in the 3rd, but we're right at the beginning of August here. And so that's this 8 energy. And 8 energy is all about infinitely cycling energies. And that could be anything that's small. It could be like a habit, a regular routine, all the way up to karma. Karma resonates at an 8. It's one of the few English words or phrases that actually has a very clear vibrational definition. So with all this 8 energy, on top of this 9 energy, August is a huge time for reaping what you sow. So we have to really pay attention to not only what we're putting out vibrationally, but actually what's coming in, because a lot of it could be very karmic, especially around things needing to end or shifting energy, because that's taking us back to the 9. So let me know. I'm just going to keep talking because I like to talk about this stuff. But if you have specific numbers or questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, because we certainly can shift and talk about those and come back to this. So we have this 9 energy of the year, and then we have the 8 energy of the month. And then for each individual day, I don't know if I have, I was trying to see if I had, nope, this only has a pen, not a highlighter. So then each day has its own vibration. And what's even, I think it's very interesting, we can actually get our vibration, our individual vibration for every single day. So then we can make sure that we are vibrating. So what I tend to do is I just like to know what vibration I'm in, so I know what color to wear. So then I actually look nicer when you have the color on that resonates with your daily vibration. And so let me move this up. Move it up. You're gonna have to remind me that I moved it up. I'll leave it right there so I can see it. but I want to show you how to calculate your daily. So for everybody, we just take the month plus the day plus the year when we've added it up. So we have the 2025, that's a 9. And so on the first, the vibration is 18, which then goes to 9. And that's for everybody. And so that's like that third layer around that day. So, like looking back here, for the first, we have the 9 of the year, the 8 of the month, but then this day is another 9. So each day has its own energy as well. But then as an individual, what you do is you take your month of birth, plus your day of birth, and then you add that to all of this up here. Eight plus 1 plus 9. And that'll give you your individual vibration for the day. And so then with that individual vibration, you could do a lot more in planning how you're going to use that energy, what you want to do for that day. Also, everything in the earth plane, so not in the universe, that's a whole different thing, but in the earth plane runs off of a 9 cycle. So we go through the vibrations 1 through 9, and that's how we create. That's how we manifest. And so knowing your day, your vibrational day of the month, can help you be able to take action and set goals and really move in a way that's going to help you to make it easier to manifest. I just noticed that this is behind here, so let me move that. So this is how you would calculate your individual vibration for the day. Anybody want to give me your month and day, and we can use your information? Oh, thanks for coming, Mia. I just saw that you popped in. Thank you for being here. Anybody want to give me their month and day? I've been a teacher for way too long, so I definitely have good wait time. Okay, perfect. Look, all right, we got 3 of them. So we have, oh my gosh, and you're all like, what? What's up with y'all summer babies? So we have 2 that are in July, so that would be a 7. And then we'll do a different color here for another 7. Let me move this up a little bit. We're gonna do all these calculations at once, and you'll have to forgive me if I do them wrong, because even though I like numbers, it's not all functioning the same. All right, and so then the June is the 11th, and then we have this July, which is the 12th. And then we have this July, that's the 19th. And then what we'll do is we'll put all of this the same. So then what we would use is the 2-digit number, which is 18. because we don't want to get to the single digit until we get all the way to our outcome, because our single digit is the outcome, and the double digit or the triple digit actually tells us the path, um, on how to get to that outcome. And so it's important to use these double digits. All right, so now I'll bring out my handy dandy calculator, because that also helps me to not make a silly mistake. So for this first one, you are at a 44/8 day on the first. We should have done today. Well, no, it's okay. we could do today or tomorrow next. And then the second one, you're at a 37/10/1 day. And then June, you're at a 35/8 day. Okay, cool. So, what this means is, so for this one, you're at the very beginning of the cycle on the first. So that's a very heightened energy. This means that you are actually going to be aligned with all of the days, because then today would be a 2 for you, because we're just adding one more. So this 1 becomes 2 and then goes to 3. So you are right aligned with the actual numbers of the day, which means that in this month, those vibrations are going to be heightened. You really should be using the 9 cycle, which we can talk about here in a minute. You really should be using the 9 cycle. You could push some things and manifest some things very big and powerful in this month. For the two of you that have 8s, this means that you would probably feel the 8 energy of August much more on that first. And you are right near the end of the 9 cycle. And so 8 is really about either creating or breaking infinitely cycling energies. So if we're like, we have some goals that we want to set for the month, and you want to start right at the first. If the first day of the month is an 8, now the first thing you need to look at are what are some of the habits and routines that either need to be put into place or need to be broken so that you can reach those goals in that month. I hope that makes sense. Because then when you're at this 8, then all you're doing, like, you can go right on the calendar and then just add 1. So then it just goes 9 and then a 10, which becomes a 1, and so on. These double digits, though, can actually give you a lot of clues about what you need to do also. So we see that we have 2 8s here, but if we just look at the 8, it just looks like you're both trying to work with infinitely cycling energy, whether it's habits or routines or whatever. But you actually are coming at those from 2 different places. So one is coming from it by 44, which is a strong, loud vibration about foundations. So it's not just looking at infinitely cycling energy. It's looking at what are the foundations of those habits and routines that either need to be put in place or need to be released so that you're able to reach your goals. But then for 35/8, this is telling you to be how you're going to be able to identify what these infinitely cycling energies are is you first have to figure out what needs to change, because that's the 5, and then you need to grow in certain areas. So this is like, okay, I want to get up and start working out. Which I do, but is horrible and hard. But if I was having a 35/8 day, I could say, all right, I'm going to change my routine of getting up early. It's going to be easier on this day to start it on this day because it's 8. So either a 1 or an 8. And so I say, all right, I'm going to change my alarm of when it's waking me up. But then I'm going to have to grow into this feeling of getting up at that time. Or I'm going to go grow my energy by eating right away. Or I'm going to grow my accountability by signing up with a trainer. So I have to be accountable to that person. So that's how you would look at that. Any questions? I know that's a lot, but this stuff is so fun. So we have the whole year, the whole month, the day, and then you have your individual day, which is what would go even more inside of here. So then you have like your individual day is here. And they're all getting woven together, and so you're using these vibrations together. I usually tell people when they're first starting to use the vibrations in this way and jump in like that vibrational pocket, to focus on one first. So with a lot of celebrities, and actually we see this a lot with SZA and Kendrick Lamar, is they start with the astrology, where they're using the astrology very strongly in getting into that vibrational pocket. So that's the first vibration, and that's also something that's on here, are the moon cycles and the astrology. So that's here too. But usually you can use one of these vibrational pockets to be able to get, and once you're used to using it, then you could add on another. So I will like use my daily vibration to pick the colors of the day, and you can actually look up online what numbers or vibrations resonate with which colors, because there's actually several colors for each of the numbers 1 through 9. And so you can I just choose to wear those colors, and even if it's just like the bandana, like today I think is a 9 day for me, which is one of the colors is lavender and another is white. And so just something simple like that can help you to start getting into this vibrational pocket so that you can use these vibrations. Another one, so for all of the women that are menstruating, our cycle is the moon cycle. So using the moon cycle to tap into vibrations is another way that we can really use that information, those vibrations, to get us started understanding this tapestry. You could also just use the whole year. So if you want to just focus on that this is a 9-year, so you need to be ending, shifting, repurposing energy, and that's all your goals for the year are focused around that. That's fine too, but you want to eventually get to a point where you're using all these different layers. Yes. I agree. It is a great reason for getting some new clothes because you can't wear the same outfit every time you have an 8 day. Definitely not. I love that. Um, so I think this is what I wanted to show you where it's like all of these different layers. So we have the year layer, the month layer, the day, and then we have the individual vibration day. We have the astrology of that day. And then we also have like the moon energy of that day. And I actually just, before coming on here, I did record a follow up because I was asked for a video on the new moon in Leo. So I'll have a video coming out that'll talk more about these moon cycles and how to actually be able to use them. Um, but let's actually go to, um, yeah, we could go to August moons here. All right, I know it looks crazy. Just, close your eyes if you need to while I move stuff around. um, so just generally, but I will, like I said, I just recorded a video, so there will be more information on this coming out to help you. But we have this moon cycle that actually has, we have 8 stops on this moon cycle, and we get the moon cycle happens like every 27 and a half days, so we usually get a full moon cycle, maybe not in the same order, but we get a full moon cycle every single month. So in every single month we get a new moon, we get a first quarter moon, we get a full moon, and we get a last quarter moon. And these are the moon energies that we really, really want to focus on. And that's because there's 2 weeks in between a new moon and a full moon. So we could set some goals, some intentions. We could really use that energy and this is really about going from dark to light. But then we also could use this full section because this first quarter moon and the last quarter moon really work well as transition points of like check-in points to really look and see what is happening and if you're using this moon energy in a proper way. What actually has really been interesting is that if you look at a lot of the artists in hip hop in particular, and I don't know exactly why it is. I don't know if it's like our ancestral roots or what, but they very much align their creative process and releasing music around the moon cycle. It's very interesting to see, and I don't think everybody's doing it on purpose. Some of them probably are, but this moon cycle is very much attached to water, which is very much the movement of emotions. So when you're doing some emotional work, whether it's your own healing or you're in that creative space of expressing those emotions, using this moon energy can be very powerful. And so we have a couple of ways that you're able to use the moon. And I'm just going to go through them quickly because, again, I have that video. I got to keep reminding myself I made the video. The video will come out. It'll probably come out in the next couple days to give you all the details. But we can use the moon energy in 3 different ways. We can use it every 2 weeks. So we can set intentions and goals that will take 2 weeks to get to. We can use it, and actually I'm going to move this and up so that I have some more room. So we can use the moon energy every 2 weeks. And this is just from new moon to full moon in 1 month. So it's whatever new moon and full moon. And sometimes this is in a 2 week period, but like the new moon is at the end of the month. And then the next full moon isn't 2 weeks until, and so it's in the other month. That doesn't matter so much except for those layers of how that month energy is going to impact this energy. So then we can set some goals and intentions that are 2 weeks at a time. We can also set some goals and intention that are 6 months. Oh, and actually, let me go back here. This is a new moon in a certain sign. And then this is the full moon in the opposite sign. Typically, not always. Um, oh, hi, Tiff Tiff. I'm glad you made it. I actually made a video before I was here too to um, that went with your question about karma and their names, Kendrick Lamar and Drake. So that's gonna be coming out soon too, in the next couple of days. Thank you. That sparked some great ideas. Thank you. Um. Okay, so we can have 2 week goals and intentions that are new moon to full moon. We can have 6 months that are new moon to full moon, but the difference here is that it's the same sign. And so when I say sign, it is that zodiac sign. So this is the same sign. And the video that I have coming out will give you more information about like what that means and how that energy works. But we also can set intentions and goals to use this moon energy for 2.5 years. So we can have some big goals. And this actually uses all 4 of those. Oh man. Erase. So it goes, I don't know if I'm going to be able to write small enough. It goes new moon. And here it's the sign and the degree. But it's within 3 degrees. So sometimes it might be a different sign. So like if the new moon is at like a 29 degrees in a sign, then the other moons could be in a different sign, but they're still highly connected. So it goes new moon and then the first quarter moon, and then the full, and then the last quarter moon. And I'll go back up in a minute to show you where those are in our moon cycle. So what you're doing, regardless of which of these it is, you're always starting on the new moon. And that's because this is when you're setting your intention. And you can have the same intention for 2 weeks, 6 months, 2.5 years. So when you hear people talk about like, oh, my 3-year goals, my 5-year goals, my 10-year goals, you can actually use these moon cycles to help push those forward. And you can have multiple. It doesn't have to just be one. And so new moon, you're always setting the intention. And then at the full moon, this is when you're getting, people like to say that it's harvest, but it's not necessarily harvest. What it is, it's an illumination. It's, you can see it. So sometimes the full moon can be really annoying, because you can see it but can't grab it yet. So that's the only thing we have to be aware of, especially when it's like 2 weeks or 6 months. So if it's like a 2 week goal, you might be able to see when it's going to come in. So, like, if you have a 2 week goal of, like, all right, I'm going to, at this new moon, ask for a promotion. And then in 2 weeks, you see, oh, okay, I don't have my promotion yet, but I can see all of the signs that it is going to happen and in this amount of time. Then that's an illumination. All right, let me make sure I'm paying attention to the chat. My eyes are so bad. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. And it gives me a good break to stop talking, because I am not like koala T and could talk and be loud and dance for this amount of time. It's crazy. Oh, I'm sorry, Tiff Tiff, that August is a rough month. Just getting started. Well, maybe we could figure out. Oh yeah, Mia, I've actually been asked several times, for some beginning stuff. You could go to some of my beginning, like my some of my first videos. I usually try and explain as much as I can. It's the monthly videos that you actually get more. But I do have some beginning videos on like the 9 cycle and the life path number and stuff like that. But if I keep getting too many more requests, because I keep getting requests for it, I may just put a class together. You know, if that's something that people really want. But you could certainly go look at those older videos and then let me know if you have questions. And I'll be back here. I'm going to try and be live every Saturday at some point. And you can bring your questions. That's no problem. Okay, back to these moons. And hopefully, Tiff Tiff, you can figure out, we can figure out together how to be able to use some of these energies that are coming up in August to really help you out and support you. Because if you can get into the vibrational flow, sometimes you could just float through stuff. And that makes it easier. It's like being covered with a comforting vibration. Oh, I'm so sorry, Tiff Tiff. That is extremely hard. Extremely hard. I can't even imagine. But we are here for you. Please keep coming and let us just love on you. And sending you lots of loving, comforting, happy vibrations. Okay, good. Good, Mia. Yeah, let me know what you think. Please feel free to, even on those later, those earlier comments. This is the good thing about not having as many subscribers, not being as big. Right now, I can answer all of your questions. So you can certainly leave questions in the comments on any of those videos, and I'm usually pretty good about responding to them. Feel free to do that. Okay, so for real back to these energies. So new moon, you're always setting your intention, and the intention does not have to be big. Um, you really want to use it the same way that these are going up in increments. you want to use it in that way. So you want to have smaller intentions, or like a piece of a bigger intention or goal at 2 weeks, and then a bigger kind of intention at 6 months. And your biggest goals and intentions you want to set at that 2.5 year mark. And we get because every single month has a new moon. So every single month you could be setting these intentions. And even if you have like an intention for the whole year, every month you could be reinforcing those intentions or those goals for the year with the new moon. The full moon is really about illumination, just showing you where you are on this path. And on this big one, really all of them, it's also about pivoting. So because you can see things clearly, you have that illumination, you have that clarity, you can pivot, you can make a change, you can shift and make it different. If you see that that's what needs to happen and you're able to see at this point. And then we have this first and last quarter moon. And up here, we would have usually a first quarter moon. At this point here. So you could use this first quarter moon as a check-in for both of these as well, if you wanted to. But the quarter moons are really good as a checkpoint. And as a point to be able to start moving in the direction. So for instance, with this 2.5 years, if you're setting the intention here, when you get to this checkpoint of the first quarter moon, this is where you're taking action. So that could be the same for these up here. So you're setting the intention, but you're not taking action until the first quarter moon. Because that first quarter moon could let you know, okay, it's time to take action. And that's usually going to be at the halfway point. So here it would be at the 1 week point. At the 6 months, it would be at like the 3 month point that you would be able to get this checkpoint and really understanding what action you need to take. This helps you slow down and make sure that you're not jumping in too quickly, that you're actually able to take the actions that are in flow, because sometimes that takes a little bit of extra planning. So then we have the last quarter moon, which can also be a checkpoint, but really the last quarter moon, this is our true harvest. So you're actually getting a harvest. You're getting what you have sown. This is when whatever you have planted, that intention that you planted, that's when you're actually getting what you planted back. And we have to remember, lots of things grow. So you could be growing some good food. You could be growing some beautiful flowers. But you could also grow some vines that are going to wrap around a tree and kill it. And you could be growing some weeds that could cause problems with the rest of your garden. So you really have to be intentional. Very, 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 very intentional. I'll put another very in there. Because being intentional is the only way to make sure that you're directing these vibrations the way that you want them to go. And that's why understanding them is so important. And if you don't, making sure you're just choosing one or the other to really focus in on. We're here for you, Tiffany. And I really do think that if you can Um, because I don't know, because I have not been even anywhere close to that situation, but I know that you're doing the right things and coming and tapping into your community and with people that care about you, and we are going to definitely send you all the positive, good, loving vibrations. And whatever else you need, you just let us know. I'm so glad you came today. Okay, so after we looked at those different ways you can use that moon energy, now we can actually look at these moons. And so this, I wanted to show you this um, because this is part that's not in the August video. So in the August video, I talk about the August in general energy, that 17-8. I talk about the portal days, um, and I talk about the 9 cycles, and I talk about important astrology. Um, and so this is part that is not in there. And so this is really what I wanted to be able to share today, hopefully before I lose my voice. Because I'm so proud of myself. I recorded like 6 videos today, like before coming on live. So I'll make sure those get out probably over the next week or two. Um, yeah, that's some good stuff. So these are just looking at the moons for August. So actually on August 1st, so yesterday, is when we had the first quarter moon. So this is the first quarter moon. But I have here, so this might be, I don't know if you can see this well enough to be able to take screenshots, but let me see if I can make it bigger. Whoa! That's kind of big, but I think it'll still work. Oh, yeah, that's good. So, on the 1st, we had this first quarter moon. This first quarter moon was attached to this new moon that happened on November 1st, 2024. So you can go back in your journals, in your calendar, back in your mind. I can't remember. I think that's why it's good that I am an avid journaler because I wouldn't remember. But look at this time in general, November 1st, 2024. And this will show you what some of the intentions are. Look and see what were the intentions that were getting planted at this time. And so then this first quarter moon, you could still do this today because we usually stay in that moon energy for 2 days, because on our moon cycle where we're not getting to the next one for a while. And this one is actually what 6 months away, something like that. But then when we get to this full moon, and just make sure you recognize the dates. So we get to this full moon that's related to this, and this will be where an illumination is coming on whatever was planted November 1st in May 1st. And then the harvest from whatever was planted at this time doesn't come until 2027. The one I want us to, we'll come back to the full moon. I want to focus on this new moon. So we have the month to be able to get our intentions, our 2 weeks, our 6 month, and our 2.5 year intentions together. But this new moon that's happening on the 22nd of August is going to start a brand new 2.5 year cycle. It's in Virgo, but the next full moon, so its 2 week point, is March. How did I get March? Oh, because it's right there. September 7th, and it's in Pisces. So Pisces is opposite Virgo. This is super important because in September is when we start having eclipse season. Eclipses amplify the energy. So you could plant some intentions and really have them amplified at this full moon eclipse in 2 weeks. 2 weeks after that. And then you could set your 6 month, so this would be your 6 month spot, would be March 3rd, 2026. So you could set some goals or some intentions at this new moon at the end of August that will be illuminated in March. And this is your very last, this is like that 2.5 year one. So big goals. I really wanted to point this out because this year, especially for August and September, the energy is extremely strong. So we have some really good opportunities to really manifest big. So think about a big, huge goal, a big, huge something you want to manifest, and then like double it or triple it. Because the amount of energy that we have coming in these months, we should be able to, if we can harness it, we should be able to really push those manifestations forward. So you could also use this energy to set some intentions and some goals for this first quarter moon. And just to make it clear, your intentions and your goals, they can be physical things, but they can also just be things in your life that you want to shift or manifest or change. Even just like the way you feel or what's happening around you. Yeah, this is extremely exciting. I'm very excited for it. But this is where you can really make some big things happen. And what you would want to do is plant those intentions and set those goals knowing these other dates. So put in your calendar that whatever your intentions you set, that on and around May 23rd is when you want to take action. This is when you want to take action. Then you put in your calendar that around February 20th, 2027 is when you want to be looking at what is being shown to you. So what's illuminated, what is being shown to you around those intentions. And if you need to pivot, so if you see before this that you need to make some changes and pivot a little bit so that you can actually manifest and bring through those intentions you have, I would wait until you get to the full moon, because in this full moon energy, you are going to be able to pivot very easily. So even if you see it like in January, what you need to do to pivot, use that time to kind of plan what your pivot will be and then pivot right around this February 20th. And then you want to set your goals and your intentions to harvest November 2027, around the end of November. So probably right around that American Thanksgiving time. I don't know why we celebrate that. I don't really celebrate it, but it's on the calendar, so whatever. But that's when you want to really expect these to come through. The one thing you really want to make sure, especially with this last quarter energy, is you don't want to be so controlling that you're trying to force it to be a certain way. Instead of forcing it to be a certain way, you want to allow it to come in however it's intended to come in. And what I do a lot of the times is I actually put that as part of my intention. So as part of my intention up here in this new moon, I will say, oh, my intention is to be able to reach this goal or better, or better. And you leave it specific enough so the energy knows how to collect it. You know what you're looking for, you know what actions you're taking, but it's open and broad enough where it can come in a multiple different kinds of forms. And we also have to remember that if you are trying to manifest something, all of that usually comes through people. And so we want to allow space for people to be able to come in. It doesn't mean you got to like them, it doesn't mean you got to be friends with them. That's hard for me. But we have to remember that our blessings and our miracles come from God's mouth into other people's hands. So we have to allow that to take place. So that's extremely exciting. So that's really what I want us planning for, is here at the end of the month. And I just noticed that the chat is maybe covering this up, but these are the dates. And again, this is not in the August video, but it will be in this one. So please come back. Please, as you're preparing for this, make sure that you're asking me questions and let's work together. I want us all to manifest some big, beautiful things. This is the year to do it. Because when we're releasing in that 9 energy, we're making so much space for some really big, amazing, beautiful things to come in. Okay, I'm starting to get tired of talking because I don't usually talk this much. But the last thing I really want to talk about is this full moon that's on August 8th. Because August 8th is an 8-8 portal. Big, huge movement of energy days. It also is known as the Lion's Gate energy. One of the videos I recorded will will be coming through, and it talks more about Lionsgate. I think it's in the video on portal numbers, and then it'll talk about the portals that are this 8-8 portal and in the 9th. But this it's a full moon. And because it's on this day that's a portal day, where energy is already being very much made brighter and faster and stronger, this is a big time day where you can find out a lot. This is like one of those days where it's like anything that was done in dark is going to come to light. So if you were doing some dirt in the dark, you might want to hide on this day. But if you want to find out what dirt people have been doing, keep your eyes open on this day. And it might be both. For most of us, it's probably both. But this full moon is attached to a couple of different new moons. So the new moon that was 2 weeks before is this new moon in Leo, that I was talking about earlier, and that actually I have a follow-up video coming out about. So any intentions that were set just last month, just a couple weeks ago, this one, you should start being able to see some illumination on this. This is a day where you can very much release a lot of energy and take in a lot of energy, especially around any intentions that were set at any of these new moons. 6 months before, this new moon in Aquarius was in January, um, at the end of January, like the 29th. So you can look and see what intentions were set in January. And this energy is so big, it'll probably grab, well, because moon energy is super big anyway, where it doesn't, it's not, so most vibrations and energy, you just see them kind of pop up as big and important, usually only for a couple of days at a time. But moon energy lasts a lot longer. So this January one, it'll probably grab a lot of your intentions that you had set at the beginning of the year. And then it's also attached to the new moon and this first quarter moon that were in 2024. So going back and looking at February 2024, see what intentions were set. Look at November 2024, see what actions were taken. And this is a perfect time to pivot, because it's like, oh, I didn't know this new moon was important. I didn't know I should take action at this first quarter moon. So at this full moon, you can pivot. That's what you want to do with this 2.5 year cycle, is you want to pivot, and pivot hard. Like if it's a straight turn all the way around kind of pivot, do it, because this is the day to do it, because there's so much strong energy. And then you should be able to see the harvest of that work coming May 2026. So early May. Okay, I keep saying I'm gonna stop, but it's just so exciting. I love this stuff. I just got to get to a point where I can just do this all day and not my regular 9 to 5. Then you all would have so much content. It would probably be a little bit nuts, but it would be exciting. So for real, okay, maybe for real. I think for real, this is the last thing. I did talk about this in one of the other videos, but we were talking about this 8-8 energy, and so I just wanted to show this. So also that's happening on this August 8th, this 8-8 energy, is we have a really cool astrological aspect that's happening that's like super powerful. And so it's right here, like this. It's this kite formation. This is a super rare alignment. Super rare alignment. And it's a mixing of vibrations that can produce some crazy, crazy things. Like, this is the type of energy where you could, like, really intentionally try and manifest something, and it shows up on your doorstep like the next day. Like, it's crazy. It's so crazy. And this kite formation, I think it actually takes perfect form. I think it's like the 10th to the 11th is when it actually is in perfect form. So you can really be able to take advantage of these vibrations from the 8th all the way to probably like the 12th. Especially because the other thing that makes this so powerful is that it's really using a lot of our outer planets that move really slow. So that means it's going to be around for a while. I think the fastest energy that's part of this kite is Mars over here. And that's the only reason that it's only lasting for like 3 or 4 days, is because Mars will shift out of this formation. But um, our alignments of these outer planets, it's crazy. So like a lot of the crazy things, I think I'm getting so much into hip hop right now. Well, because I love it, but also because in the like birth chart of hip hop, so it was born in like 1973 in the Bronx, New York. Um, it is taking advantage of like all of these vibrations that we're seeing. And so a lot of these vibrations are heightened in that space. So we're seeing like structures be challenged. We're seeing like open wounds of like foundations that need to be changed and broken. We're seeing like these two halves of like dualism where it's like what how are we like half of us on this side and half of us on this side and be so very different. um and the only other entity that I have found that is also having all of these aspects be extremely heightened is the United States, and I don't really want to look at those events. they're they're pretty depressing. I'll look at them enough to be aware, but they're pretty depressing. So I'd rather focus on hip hop. Okay, so I'm gonna stop talking for a minute. See if anybody has questions. I know I dumped a whole lot on you. Thank goodness this is being recorded, so you'll have a recording to go back to. But also, I have other videos that give more and more information. So you can watch all of the August videos. So there's the one long August video that has everything. But then I also broke it up where you can just look at like the astrology for August, or you can just look at the 9 cycle for August. So if you want to just focus on one of those, I'm so glad you're hooked. You must be hooked, Slay Queen, because it is late where you are. You need to be asleep and you're still here. So, thank you so much for staying so long. I'm glad that you're liking this. And I'm actually thinking about in to use these Saturdays because hip hop has its birthday coming up. It's the 14th of August. I was thinking about using August to really talk about the vibrations and the numerology and the astrology of hip hop because I think we can use it as a good example for us. So we'll see. I'll be putting up the topics for our next live, but I will be back on next week. Good. I'm so glad. Yes, you. Okay. I'm glad you're not sorry, but I feel sorry. I feel bad because that's really late. Oh goodness, thank you so much for being here. Um, I'll wait just a little bit to see if there's any questions, and then we'll sign off. Oh yes, Mia. Like even just daily little bit of journaling of like this is what happened today, or even just journaling on these different moon days is huge. But I also like I started working with a lot of these vibrations just in my planner, like looking at what the vibrations were for each day, um, and then looking at then I kept adding and kept adding to the point where then I needed a journal to keep track of everything. And certainly ask me any kind of questions because um, it's exciting for me because this is how I see the whole world. Like, I literally see everything in these vibrations, in these numbers. It's like reading the Matrix. So it's fun to be able to share that view with people and not be the only one seeing it. So please certainly leave me comments, ask questions, and please come back every Saturday. I'd love to see you. Oh, and there's some good journals out there. There's some great journals. I actually get most of my journals like from the thrift store or from like a store like Ross or Marshalls, like like the um, discount stores. I always check for them, and I always pick those up. So I have like a stack of empty journals, so I'm always ready. It is good morning for Slay Queen. Okay, good morning. Have a good nap. Oh, thank you all so much. Oh, I love that. I would love to see you. So, do watch this again, and even if you don't watch it all in full again, if other questions come up, please do feel free to put those questions on as comments on this video. Um, because again, right now I have low subscribers and low views, so it's easier for me to be able to answer everybody's questions. So it was meant for you all to be here at this time because you can get so many questions answered, um, and I can share so much more information with you. Okay, so I know it's super late for many of you. Um, but I am exhausted. So I'm gonna go rest and have some dinner, and the rest of you hopefully can have a good evening. I can put together a daily vibration chart. Mia, if you put that in as a comment on this recording, I'll um I'll get back to you with that one. All right. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I'll see you next week for sure, and probably throughout the week at other people's lives because I'm loving going to everybody's lives. Leave me comments. Leave me comments. Bye.